Jai. So, welcome to today's Bhagavatam class in ISKCON Munich. ISKCON Munich Ki Jai. Let's chant Radha, Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Thank you, Prabhu. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shirate Jaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Shila, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Shila, Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayashva Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtiki. We continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter entitled King Purūravā enchanted by Urvaśī, Canto 9, and we are at text 47. Tenāyajata yajñeśaṁ bhagavantam adhokṣajam urvaśī-lokam anvicchan sarva-devamayaṁ harim. Tena, by generating such a fire, ayajata, he worshipped yajña-īśam, the master or enjoyer of the yajna, bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, adhokṣajam, beyond the perception of the senses, urvaśī-lokam, to the planet where Urvaśī was staying, anvicchan, although desiring to go, sarva-deva-mayam, the reservoir of all demigods, harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By means of that fire, Purūravā, who desired to go to the planet where Urvaśī resided, performed the sacrifice, by which he satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the enjoyer of the results of sacrifice. Thus he worshipped the Lord, who is beyond the perception of the senses and is the reservoir of all the demigods. Hare Krishna, Uddhavananda Prabhu. Purport.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktarang yajña tapasam sarva-loka maheshwaram. Any loka or planet to which one wants to go is the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the enjoyer of the performance of sacrifice. The purpose of yajna is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this age, as we have explained many times, the yajna of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only sacrifice that can satisfy the Supreme Lord. When the Lord is satisfied, one can fulfill any desire, material or spiritual. Hare Krishna Dhanakeli Mataji. Bhagavad Gita 3.14 also says, Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. By offering sacrifices to Lord Vishnu, one can have sufficient rainfall. When there is sufficient rainfall, the earth becomes fit to produce everything. Sarva-kama dughamahi. If one can utilize the land properly, one can get all the necessities of life from the land, including food grains, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. Everything one gets for material wealth is produced from the earth, and therefore it is said, Sarva-kama dughamahi. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.4. Everything is possible by performing yajna. Therefore, although Purūravā desired something material, he factually performed yajna to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is adhokṣajam, beyond the perception of Purūravā and everyone else. Consequently, some kind of yajna must be performed to fulfill the desires of the living entity. Yajnas can be performed in 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. Without such a regulated process, no one can perform yajna, and without the performance of yajnas, no material plans can make human society happy at any time. Everyone should therefore be induced to perform yajnas. In this age of Kali, the yajna recommended is Sankirtana, the individual or collective chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This will bring the fulfillment of all necessities for human society. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Trinadapi Sunichena Taror Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Swastyastu Vishwasya Kala Prasidatam Dayantu Bhutani Shiva Mitudiya Manascha Badram Bhajatat adhokṣaje aveshyatam no matiyarapya haituki tvai. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Yare Katha Kara Krishna Upadesha Amara Agyaya Guru Hanatara Desha. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Shri Krishna as they are given in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and therefore become a spiritual master by my command. Try to deliver everyone in your land. So, welcome to this Mangala, no, not Mangala Arati, Bhagavatam class again. Thank you for being here. Uddhavananda Prabhu and Danakili Mataji. Please give me your blessings that Krishna uses me as an instrument to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. And I read again the verse, text 47. By means of that fire, Purūravā, who desired to go to the planet where Urvaśī resided, performed a sacrifice by which he satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the enjoyer of the results of sacrifice. Thus he worshipped the Lord, who is beyond the perception of the senses and is the reservoir of all the demigods. Yeah, to come back to our story, we are still in the chapter where King Purūravā is very much enchanted by Urvaśī Mataji and very much hankering for material sense enjoyment with her and chasing her up and down through the whole country. And she was restricting their association even for once a month. And this was also not enough for him. So, he decided to perform a yajña, and even the yuga changed during that time. And instead of making Ashtanga yoga process, like it was, for example, for Dhruva Maharaj, in Dhruva Maharaj's time was Satya Yuga, and Narada Muni instructed him to please Lord Vishnu by performing a sacrifice. He gave him a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he performed Ashtanga yoga practices and pranayama. So he was pleasing Lord Vishnu with that, and we all know that in due course of time, Lord Vishnu appeared and gave him any benediction he wanted because he was so pleased from his sacrifice. And he fulfilled also Dhruva Maharaj's material desire. And he gave him a kingdom far greater as of his father, not only the earth, but his own planet, urvaśī-lokam. Even though at the time when he was so purified through his devotional service that he realized that what he was desiring for was not better than broken glass. And now, as he has the darshan of Lord Vishnu, this seems like a diamond for him. In a similar way, Purūravā performed a sacrifice, and he made a yajña a fire sacrifice. And from this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead also became satisfied and granted him his desire to go to the planet where Urvaśī Mataji stayed, the Gandharva-loka. The verse and the purport are very much talking about performing yajñas. So I decided also to read a little bit from a reference I found very nicely in the Bhagavad Gita. It's in the 3rd chapter, verse 10. Is not mentioned here. It's in the purport is related to 14. And 14 talks about food grains, which are essential for living entities, especially for humans, to survive, and how they are generated. That there is when I came to Simhachalam, it was very nice. I had a meeting with Gauranga Gunanava Prabhu. Maybe some of you still know him, and he showed me in the kitchen this cycle while we are doing yajña or chanting Hare Krishna, because it's a circle of gratitude. We receive so much, like everything is provided by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his executives, the demigods, like everything we need, a place to stay, a body to perform, air, water, fire, the sun, and also eatables. And in order to be grateful, but also to give back, to have something to also offer to the Lord, even though he's complete in himself, we are supposed to perform the sacrifices. And when we take what the Lord offers to us and we give it back to him, then we please him. And by such means, the demigods are automatically pleased and they will serve for enough rainfall. That's this 3:14 verse. Anat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anasambhavaha. Yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samutbhavaha. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. It's even said that when a soul comes from the spiritual world, and falls down, it comes with a rain, and then goes into a food grain, and from there in the semen of the father, and from there in the womb of the mother, and then gets reborn. So very interesting how this is all related. And now I wanted to read the verse 3:10. Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva Purūravā prajapatihi anena prasavishya dvam esha vostvishta kama duk. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna, sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Okay, now it's over. So we can understand that it's a natural thing. It comes along with the creation. Yeah, like there was so much to be created, and we know it's not like as modern scientists want to tell us with the theory of Darwin that there were only cells, elements, and they were from itself creating by accident more intelligent things, and then by accident somehow or another through selection there came limbs and a brain, and like like something super fine and intelligent and artistic and beautiful has just come by a big destructive bang, where usually when we see explosions in the material world is nothing really delightful created from that except smoke and devastation and some burned elements. And by chance also nothing happens in this world. It's not that I lay back and the puja in the temple is performed on its own, or I don't read, I don't chant, I don't try to connect with Krishna, and I just sit on the asasan and on its own I'm speaking the lecture. It just doesn't make sense really. But still they are proclaiming that this everything happened by accident, but we know, and the Vedic scriptures tell us that with our limited brain capacity we cannot understand all these things. We have to accept what is given through Shastra, and Shastra clearly explained that all this 8,400,000 life forms, all the planetary systems, all the different elements, the subtle, the gross, all this was created by the Supreme Personality at once when there was the creation. It was not evolving from its own. And with it also the performance of sacrifice. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the same time found a mean how the living entities in this world can be happy, and how through performance of their prescribed duties in varnashrama according to their nature. And for animals it's automatically progression, we know, through reincarnation and karma. But in human form of life there are even divisions given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by quality and by state of life, varna and ashrama. Varna is the quality, for example, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana. A laborer, a businessman or a farmer, an executive, a warrior or politician, and a priest or teacher. And these are all related to different parts of the body as well. The laborer, the legs, the Vaishyas, the farmers, and the what means handel, handler, merchants, the hip, the kshatriyas, the arms, and the brahmanas, the head, and all are equally important. Even though the head is a little bit more important, because without the head the others are also not functioning. But in the body you need everything to survive. So it can only work together. Sun, kirtan. It can only work together, because for a prospering society we need all the parts. If we don't have laborers, there will be no one who makes simple work, and nothing can really go on. If we don't have the hip, we cannot move. If we don't have the hip, we don't have strength, we don't have wealth, we don't have enough to make nice progeny. Yeah, we cannot build things up, and without the arms, we cannot execute something. We cannot make projects. We cannot delegate others, and without the head, we cannot teach all the parts and cannot rule them. We cannot give them direction. Yeah, so everyone has his part, and everyone can engage in this yajña, which is created by the Lord to make him happy and also to make society happy. Yeah, that there is a healthy state, that everyone is prosperous, that everyone is engaging and cooperating nicely, that all the necessities of life, and here, and especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's always explained that it's about the bare necessities of life are the most important. Yeah, how to get nice food. Yeah, how to farm nicely, how to have nice water, and we need clothes, fabrics. We need some pearls and gold and silver to worship the deity, and also to exchange. Yeah, to make business, economy, and that's all. Yeah, it's very simple actually, and through to modernization and to separation and to more and more also violation of material nature, more and more, we want to take more and more, exploit mother nature more and more, to get more and more money without giving something back. Yeah, this yajña cycle is more and more destroyed, more and more only one side taking from Krishna, taking from the earth, and therefore there are natural disturbances coming up because of this, because the sinful reactions come out more and more, there's more and more exploitation, and therefore Bhumi Devi is not at all pleased, Krishna is not pleased, the demigods are not pleased. Therefore the natural end of all this, we all know in Kali Yuga, is that there will be almost no sunshine anymore, there will fall no rain, therefore there will be no vegetables anymore, therefore the humans will become smaller and smaller, and they will start even to eat each other. They will live in caves instead of palatial buildings, and therefore we have also all these disturbances on the planet Earth right now, with earthquakes, with droughts, with hunger, and diseases that spread. Yeah, so this is all a reaction to our inability to please the Supreme Lord, to work and cooperate with the demigods, and to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life. Yeah, nowadays you go into a supermarket and you cannot even decide what to get. Yeah, there's so many different varieties of stuff, but the quality is very low. Yeah, it's produced cheaply, it's not really giving time to grow, with artificial light, even out of the season, without much love, made with machines. Yeah, not with bulls. Yeah, who themselves dig the earth. Yeah, it's said when the feet of the cow touching the ground, then it energizes also the earth. It gives life to the earth, because the cow is some kind of transmigrator with the horns. Yeah, that's also why milk is so nicely, because it channels cosmic energy with the horns and put it in the ground. Yeah, it's very divine. And yeah, we don't use them anymore. Also, the best fertilizer, the cow dung, it doesn't fall anymore naturally on the ground. That's why the earth is drowning, and there's no more life in the earth. Yeah, before the cows were grazing freely on the fields, and every here and then they were passing little stool and urine, and this is very, very good for the earth. Yeah, it said through this there can grow nice vegetables and plants, but because there's also this cooperation with the cows, not anymore only at one place, packed all together, and then over fertilization. Yeah, they just put at once all of the excrements on the field, and actually there's no knowledge anymore really how to produce also nicely, and the demigods are not pleased. But it can be very, very simple. Srila Prabhupada also said that every grihasta should just have a little bit of land, and then he can maintain himself. He has a cow. He gives the cow dung to the field. He grows some vegetables, some flowers. He sings Hare Krishna, and your life can become perfect. You have a happy life. You don't have to overwork so much. Many families cooperating together. One maybe produces one grain or vegetable more than the other, then they can exchange. It's very natural life, but nowadays you have to endeavor so hard to get money, to pay stuff that you don't even want, that you are forced to consume. You have to have a car to go from your home to the place you work. You have to pay so much insurances and taxes and this and that. That's why it's described that the situation in Kali Yuga will be at some point like this, that the state is exploiting the citizens so madly that they will flee, that they abandon the city life, and they will go to the forest again. So all grihastas should be intelligently uniting and founding some land and buying and raising farm communities. That's why Prabhupada was so happy about farm communities and stressed this point. And he said the only thing that he wasn't able to establish was varnashrama, practically. And this a true varnashrama community can only prosper really with a farm. Because your farm gives so many opportunities to live with nature, and to live like in the old Vedic times with cows, to live without electricity, with oil, to live with nature, to rely on their own productivity of food grains and of vegetables. And this is actually the best way. So we should all make an endeavor to found a farm community to live, and then we don't have to prostitute ourselves. Then we don't have to prostitute ourselves to make a living, just to serve artificial desires, to maintain and spend our time in a demoniac way rather than cultivating Krishna consciousness. Because at the end of the life, anyway, only Krishna consciousness is is needed, and everything else we cannot even take with under the control of the Lord, and the only real thing is Krishna. So I read a little bit from the purport. It's very nicely explained there as well. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds, all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna, sacrifices, for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows, with special reference to the Sankirtan Yajna. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Krishna Varnang Tvisha Krishnang Sangopangastra Parshadam Yaknai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasaha. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita, also 9.14. This is verse Satatam Kirtayantomam. Yeah, so we can have it very easily, and Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is easy for the easy and complicated for the complicated. It's very easy, and there are already so many centers and farms and all that. And yeah, we can also experience that if we just serve the Lord, then everything is provided. Yeah, there's also this verse in Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna says that I provide what you lack and I maintain what you have. Yeah, so we can be sure it's not the state. Yeah, it's not an employee who only wants to exploit us to create something artificially to increase his sense enjoyment. It's not the service to him. Yeah, it's also not. It's about Krishna. Yeah, it's about Krishna prema, and that's the highest goal. We can only become truly happy through our relationship and realization in Krishna consciousness. And the funny thing is if we just give water to that root, yeah, to that plant, and feed the stomach automatically, the whole plant, the whole body is pacified. Yeah, all necessities of life are also served. Yeah, if you live in a temple, there will always be enough food. There's always shelter. Yeah, if you serve the Lord, there is always enough also materially served automatically. Yeah, so there's no reason to artificially endeavor for material happiness on the side. Yeah, and there was one Bhagavatam verse also mentioned in the purport of the verse we are reading today. Today, I also wanted to relate to that. I want to read it. Kamang babarsha pajanyaha sarva kama dukhamahi shishichuhu smavrajan gavaha payaso dhasvatir muda. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. The basic principle of economic development is centered on land and cows. Yeah, so it's not about something other, something technically, something this, something that. That is only exploitation of nature. True wealth is in cows and in land. That is true wealth. Yeah, and everything comes from there. That's why wherever there is service to Krishna, yeah, we always serve Krishna by offering him foodstuffs of milk products, yeah, ghee, yogurt, milk. So for this we need cows, and also only finer brain tissues can only be developed, better spiritual understanding if we consume milk products. Yeah, and only then the body can be healthy. It's a myth that we need meat, flesh, to maintain a healthy body. No, but it is a fact that we need milk products. Yeah, so with cows we can become truly wealthy. and with land. The necessities of human society are food grains, fruits, milk, minerals, clothing, wood, etc. One requires all these items to fulfill the material needs of the body. Certainly, one does not require flesh and fish or iron tools and machinery. During the regime of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all over the world there were regulated rainfalls. Rainfalls are not in the control of the human being. The heavenly king Indradev is the controller of rains, and he is the servant of the Lord. When the Lord is obeyed by the king and the people under the king's administration, there are regulated rains from the horizon, and these rains are the causes of all varieties of production on the land. Not only do regulated rains help ample production of grains and fruits, but when they combine with astronomical influences, there is ample production of valuable stones and pearls. Yeah, so we also know that in former times the earth was so happy when there was yajña to Lord Krishna that there were so many stones and minerals that even on the sidewalk there was lying gold and jewels around. And now the earth is, we can also see from the story of Prithu Maharaj. Maybe you know the story of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There Prithu becomes angry because the earth is not providing anymore enough grains, and the citizens they start to hunger, to develop a great hunger, and he's angry on the earth because she's not supplying, because it is her duty. But then she's revealing that she's not providing because the inhabitants, the citizens, they are misusing the food. They are not offering it as a sacrifice to Krishna. That's why she is not giving anymore. And that's why also minerals and stones are not so prominent anymore today. Grains and vegetables can sumptuously feed a man and animals, and a fatty cow delivers enough milk to supply a man sumptuously with vigor and vitality. If there is enough milk, enough grains, enough fruit, enough cotton, enough silk, and enough jewels, then why do the people need cinemas, houses of prostitution, slaughterhouses, etc.? What is the need of an artificial, luxurious life of cinema, cars, radio, flesh, and hotels? Has this civilization produced anything but quarreling individually and nationally? Has this civilization enhanced the cause of equality and fraternity by sending thousands of men into a hellish factory and the war fields at the whims of a particular man? It is said here that the cows used to moisten the pasturing land with milk because their milk bags were fatty and the animals were joyful. Do they not require, therefore, proper protection for a joyful life by being fed with a sufficient quantity of grass in the field? Why should men kill cows for their selfish purposes? Why should man not be satisfied with grains, fruits, and milk, which combined together can produce hundreds and thousands of palatable dishes? Why are there slaughterhouses all over the world to kill innocent animals? Maharaj Parikshit, grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthira, while touring his vast kingdom, saw a black man attempting to kill a cow. The king at once arrested the butcher and chastised him sufficiently. Should not a king or executive head protect the lives of the poor animals who are unable to defend themselves? Is this humanity? Are not the animals of a country's citizens also? Then why are they allowed to be butchered in organized slaughterhouses? Are these the signs of equality, fraternity, and non-violence? Therefore, in contrast with the modern, advanced, civilized form of government, an autocracy like Maharaj Yudhishthira's is by far superior to a so-called democracy in which animals are killed and a man less than an animal is allowed to cast votes for another less than animal man. We are all creatures of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Lord himself is the seed-giving father, and material nature is the mother of all living beings in all shapes. Thus, Mother Material Nature has enough foodstuff both for animals and for man, by the grace of the Father Almighty, Sri Krishna. The human being is the elder brother of all other living beings. He is endowed with intelligence more powerful than animals for realizing the course of nature and the indications of the Almighty Father. Human civilizations should depend on the production of material nature without artificially attempting economic development to turn the world into a chaos of artificial greed and power only for the purpose of artificial luxuries and sense gratification. This is but the life of dogs and hogs. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ja. Yeah. And ISKCON is meant by Srila Prabhupada to first of all create brahmanas, because the society is lacking Brahminical culture. Yeah, the demons became so prominent that, in this Kali Yuga, they are almost everyone known and born as a Shudra, we all know. Yeah, so in order to lead the society, Srila Prabhupada founded ISKCON also to educate higher intelligent class of men. He wanted to create brahmanas, and that from the head everything else will also come again. Yeah, like the head can educate other classes of men, and then their natures may shine and again. Yeah, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and then through distribution of knowledge, also through book distribution, we can educate and the mass of population, in spiritual topics, but also in varnashrama. And it's said that everything will come from the Mahamantra. Every religiosity, every temple, like Govindadev Prabhu once, my temple president, explained this once to me, that it first starts with the chanting of the Mahamantra. Then Lord Krishna is present. Then through this chanting, people become serious, and then they are there's the necessity slowly to establish deity worship, because you want to engage them, and true engagement is in relation to the Lord. So from the chanting come the deities. Then with the deities there comes the need for initiation, because people want to become qualified and purified in order to worship the deity and to serve in the association of Vaishnavas. And at last, there comes Varnashrama. That's why also this was not fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada yet, because at the end, when these things are there, then truly, we can also see it in the temple. Right now, it's not so many devotees here. That's why it's always a hustle to maintain. Because we don't have sufficient Vaishyas to maintain the temple, to provide enough Lakshmi that everything is going on, and to give proper vegetables for the and flowers to the worship of Lord Krishna and maintenance of the devotees. We have not even enough Shudras for all the services in the temple. And we don't have Kshatriyas who can rule, who can serve for safety, who can acquire land, who can guide the others, and there are not enough brahmanas to engage the others in service, to inspire them, to enlighten them. So we need all of them, but through the chanting of the Mahamantra, everything else will be following. We will purify our existence. And as we know, the book distribution is the Brihat Mridanga, the big chanting. And also without knowledge it's also impossible. We need knowledge. It's not only the chanting. We can go back to Krishna. We can have Krishna Prema, but still, for living in the material world and to not commit offenses and to live properly, we need to have the scriptures and to study them. So therefore, book distribution is goes hand in hand with Harinama, and we need both. Yeah. So there was also a question in the audience from Manish. What do you say about the Trinity theory and the principles of Arya Samaj? Yeah, I don't know what he means with that. Do you know what he means with the Trinity theory and Arya Samaj?
Yeah, Prabhupada has also commented on this idea so much. So, yeah, all I would say is, yeah, maybe Uddhav Prabhu can, if he is there, Prabhu can enlighten.
Purūravā Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams, Jai Prabhupada. What do you know about the Trinity theory and the principles of Arya Samaj? I never heard of it.
Yeah, Arya Samaj is a Hindu famous society which was established very early, even before appearance of Prabhupada. And they are basically followers of the Advaita philosophy. This is my understanding. So Srila Prabhupada told us that we are respectful to them, but at the same time we follow the Achintya-bheda-bhed philosophy by Lord Chaitanya.
Hmm. And what is the Trinity theory? Is related to that, or?
Trinity theory I am not exactly aware of. I also need to look what is there. But essentially they are Advait philosophers, and our philosophy is Achintya-bheda-bhed. Yeah, this is the difference.
So, like, actually, it is also related to independence movement. So they are like a kind of modernized version of the tradition, because like they also wanted to fight for independence for India. At the same time, like they used in one or the other sense the very principles, like what is there, probably what Prabhu is saying, like Advaita philosophy. So they used it for the independence movement. So it's like not bona fide Vaishnava tradition, I would say.
Is not in a disciplic succession.
Yeah, it's a kind of association. That's it.
Yeah, I just now searched Prabhu about this Trinity theory. So I just now found, so they share the aspect, the Ishwar, soul, and the matter. These are three different entities in this Trinity theory. But at the same time, no, sorry. I need to study. It seems they reject this Trinity. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Thank you anyway. Thank you very much.
But they are against the Trinity theory, and Trinity theory, according to them, is a Christian concept. God, soul, and matter, they are different. And it seems they are more on against the Britishers who are there. So So, but what I remember, what Prabhupada told about Arya Samaj was they follow the Advaita philosophy, which means they are more or less of Mayavadis. So, Prabhupada always respected them, but at the same time, he instructed disciples to stay away from them.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I don't know if you heard it, Manish Prabhu, but we were a little bit inquiring, and Trinity theory is not so clear to us, and Arya Samaj, we just know that Prabhupada recommended that we respect, but we stay away, because it's Advaita philosophy, it's practical Mayavad philosophy, and it's not what our Sampradaya is teaching, and what also the Yuga avatar teaches, the Achintya-bheda-bheda tattva, with at the same time oneness but difference, of the living entities with God, that we are of divine nature, we have divine qualities, but at the same time we are an eternal fragmental part of God. Mamaivang-sho jivabhute, jivabhute sanatanaha. So it's just another philosophical stream, and we accept, we know more or less that God is fulfilling all desires of all living entities. That's why there's so much variety in this material world, and everyone in every philosophy is there, the strangest philosophies and followers of philosophy. And that is only the reason that is existing is because the Lord is allowing, because the living entities, they want it. But I just read yesterday in Beyond Birth and Death that even the so-called oneness, it's not real oneness, because the soul is always separate, or separate individual, and that even this merging with the Brahma-jyoti, with the energy of Krishna, even when Lord Krishna allows that, it's like they are still not really merged. They are still there as a spark, but the spark has no form, because they don't want a form, they want impersonalism. And sooner or later, because this is not bearable for a living entity forever, it's still also not in the spiritual world, it's at the edge of the spiritual and the material world. So they don't stay there forever, because no one can stay forever. And he gave a very vivid example that, for example, sometimes we think we need peace, and then we go alone in the room to read or to rest. But how long can you do it? At some point you need to go have association again. It's just natural, and we see it with every living entity around. Every intelligent person can see that this is a fact. And it is described that these souls desiring even that, because of their material frustration, or God knows why, they are allowed to be in the Brahma-jyoti as a spiritual spark, but then they are desiring again exchange, and then they fall back in the material world. So what's the point, really? So there are so many philosophies, and so many people can argue of the basis of their so-called revealed scriptures, but if you're honestly comparing the scriptures and studying the scriptures, you will find that the Vedic teachings are the most clear, the ones that make the most sense, and also the most blissful. Is said that the happiness compared to be in the Brahma-jyoti, for having the association of Krishna directly, is compared to a drop in an ocean. It's not more than a drop to have not a material body and being relieved from material suffering, compared to the ecstasy you have in devotional service when you have the association of Krishna directly. And this is not something you only read in books, but you can also practically experience. But in order to argue that with such a person, you have to either have very nice shastrical knowledge or very much bhakti in your heart. And from my perspective, it's at least I am not so convincible yet to argue with such persons, and can be dangerous for your spiritual life. So better stay away from these persons and respect them from aside, and just have faith in our sampradaya, have faith in the disciplic succession, in what Lord Chaitanya was teaching, and try to experience that, because we can experience this spiritual happiness already by serving Krishna here at his lotus feet, and by performing the Sankirtan Yajna. So, it's people who want to argue about that. I realized also from book distribution on the street, even though you have the perfect arguments and you have the perfect, philosophy and everything, it's just they want to have a different mentality, and you cannot really convince them. Yeah, it's always with fanatic Christians also on the street. You can bring the best arguments or quote things, but it's not their adhikar. It's not they don't have this pious activities also accumulated. Most of them eat a lot of flesh, so due to this contamination, they are not even able to grasp these higher truths. Yeah, because they have a very limited sense of perception and spiritual understanding. So they are just sticking to their belief, and this is all what they have, or all what they can, more or less. So it's better, is also recommended in Bhagavad Gita, to not disturb these persons and just trying to engage them in devotional service. That's also what Prabhupada did, not trying to change their belief from Christians to Vaishnavas, but just encourage them. Hey, you want to be a Christ, maybe it would be nice if you don't eat meat, thou shall not kill. Yeah, try to make them better Christians, try to make them the chant of Lord Jesus Christ and Jehovah more, and then they make a natural evolution. Yeah, they make progress in spiritual life, and then maybe they take a life in a Vaishnava family, or who knows, come to Brahmaloka, make further progress there. Who knows? But to really argue on a philosophical base is not really recommended. Yeah, you have to be really, really pure-hearted and well intentions to really move the heart of such a person. So better not agitate, better leave them alone, respect them from a distance, try to engage them in the Lord's service, and some of them accept prasadam, hear the holy name, or are able to give donations or whatsoever, or be favorable. But our philosophy is just the highest. It is like this. It's like it's compared to different phases or schools of life, like kindergarten, grammar school, and then university. And some scriptures, some paths, some philosophies are more like kindergarten from the understanding, some are more like grammar school, but the Vedic teachings are like the university. Yeah, it's very, very elaborately and in detail everything explained and revealed. Just we have to have the pious credits to turn towards, and the faith and the ability to surrender to that. Okay, hope this is fine. Has anyone any question?
Yeah, good. So
Yes, Shwan Prabhu.
Yeah.
What?
Just follow on what you said, like to really move such people, like not just by arguing, but we need real purity. So, like, what exactly, like, how can we become pure, or like, what is like more you can, elaborate on this.
Yeah, how can we become pure? What is pure devotional service? Anya-vilasita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Without any material motive for sense enjoyment or philosophical speculation. Yeah, so no philosophical speculation. That means we have to be well versed in the scriptures, and with no ulterior motive other than to please Lord Krishna in a favorable way. So and for this we have to follow the process, following 4 regulative principles, chanting at least 16 rounds a day, performing devotional services under the guidance of the spiritual master. And then Srila Prabhupada explains it is a gradual process. Yeah, it will take a time. It's since time immemorial we are in this material world, and we have so much dust still in the mirror of our mind, in our heart, so many material desires since time immemorial to enjoy sex life, to exploit Mother Nature. So This will take time, gradually realizations, but especially Srila Prabhupada highlighted that 99% of our advancement in Krishna consciousness comes from chanting the Mahamantra attentively. Yeah, so, and Lord Chaitanya also says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, yeah. Through the chanting, we clean the mirror of the mind. Yeah, and then we hopefully, when such a situation arises, we don't become angry, yeah, we don't indulge in fighting, but we can just speak from the heart. And also Shastra there's the word astra, yeah, it's a weapon. Yeah, there's a book from Srila Prabhupada, The Sword of Knowledge. Yeah, you can cut. Yeah, cutting. You can also cut with knowledge, and spiritual master is considered heavy. Yeah, because he's heavy on the scriptures. He is not, like sentimentally. Yesterday, a friend I met in Frankfurt. And he called me and he said, yes, his spiritual master, he is also a spiritual master, and I shall come and visit him. And I said, okay, and who is this person? Is he in the disciplic succession? And oh no, he doesn't know about it. And he's just acting completely independent from the spiritual master, having plans to go to a different country. He's still eating meat. What's the use of such a spiritual master? He can lead you nowhere. They are not following regulative principles their own, and they are really cheaply saying, you can do whatever you like, you just give me your money. And that's all. Like, that's not a spiritual master. A spiritual master is teaching you spiritual knowledge. He wants you to follow. Yeah, he doesn't initiate you when you are not pure yet, when you not have developed some state of purity, because when he accepts you as a disciple, he will take your sinful reactions. It's not a cheap thing, It's Krishna consciousness is very, very, it's a personal relationship with Krishna. You have to, you can do it. And you can, it's probably when you're standing there, it's very hard to concentrate. I'm speaking right now. I'm answering a question. Could you please do your duty or close the door and stop looking at me? It's very nice, thank you. Yeah, and I cannot concentrate right now. I cannot concentrate like this. Yeah, and so it's about following rules and regulations, guru, sadhu, and shastra. And a guru is only a true guru when he follows the shastra in the disciplic succession. When he himself become the topmost disciple of his spiritual master, only then you can become a guru. So there are so many fake gurus out there, and so much, like... Yeah. So did I answer the question?
No. Actually, in one sentence you answered, most chanting of the holy names attentively brings 99% of advancement in spiritual life. So
yeah, everything comes from the Mahamantra in this age. But we also have to follow then what comes with the Mahamantra later. Like, we should be eager for being twice born. We should be eager for a spiritual master. Yeah, that's what scriptures recommend. Then we can get rid of our propensity to rule over material nature and establish our true identity as a servant, really. Otherwise we have no anchor. We are floating around. We are following our own minds, what our material relatives demand from us and all that. So it's it starts with chanting, with association, serving in the association of others, getting purified, studying the revealed scriptures, accepting a bona fide master, and trying to please this spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yeah, that's only when we please the spiritual master, Krishna is pleased. Yeah, so it's not in the air, impersonal. There is a person. Yeah, he's the link to Krishna, to us, and we can purify ourselves to become the topmost servant of that personality. Yeah. Is not without connection or without association, can only happen through service and association, but always with the Mahamantra. Yeah, because we are begging by chanting that Krishna engages us in service. And the spiritual master is an expansion of the super soul, a representative of Krishna. So by serving him, we serve Krishna.